We're here with Riley Green. First of all, thank you so much for joining us today. We're really excited to have you.
Yeah, this is awesome. Thanks for having us.
How are you adjusting to the weather, first of all? Big question.
So I'm used to cold weather, hunting season and being out in the woods and all that. But this is, it went just overnight, just 2 feet of snow. This is crazy.
This is Canada. 1 minute it's nice and warm and sunny and you're walking around in your fall coat, and the next minute you've got 10 centimeters of snow on the ground.
Yeah, it's a little like Alabama, but a little colder.
Okay. So you're touring with Luke Combs. You went from one Luke to another Luke. Talk to us a little bit about what it's been like to be on the road and what it feels like to be asked to join these artists.
Well, I mean, obviously, Luke Bryan, he's had a 20-something, 30-something year career playing country music, and you can't help but learn something from somebody like that. Obviously, he's been doing it a long time and had a lot of success with it, and that tour was great. His whole camp was great to us. And then Luke Combs is, we came up kind of the same way. Always been a big fan of Luke, and it's been really cool to be, in another country on a big tour like this and see that there really are country music fans everywhere.
Have you done a lot of extensive traveling in your lifetime? Because this is a really great way to do it.
Most of my traveling has been to go to nowhere. I'm always trying to get out in the middle of the woods somewhere and hide from everybody. So this is a little different. But when I signed a record deal in 2018, that was the first time I'd been on a plane.
Wow.
So I'm getting to see a lot of the world that I never thought I would, and especially in this capacity, it's pretty cool to be, traveling around playing country music. That's a good excuse to do some traveling.
Your traveling's evolving, your career is evolving. I imagine that your songwriting is also evolving. How has it changed sort of over the course of that?
Well, I think when I started writing songs, I was in college, playing in bars for a tab, and just, I had different values, I guess. I was just trying to get up and make it to a 9:45 class, and now we're traveling around, and my folks and my family, I haven't really spent that much time away from them, so now I'm on the road several hundred days a year. It makes me feel a little different about home, a lot more nostalgia in my songwriting, I think, about just wanting to be back in that place that kind of started my career.
So speaking of songwriting, your latest number one, Half of Me with Thomas Rhett, congratulations.
Thank you.
Such a fun, catchy song. Is it true that you guys conceptualized and wrote it sort of cozied up in a duck blind together?
Well, I don't know if we were cozied up.
Well, I imagine it's not a very big space.
We were at duck camp. We were in a lodge, yeah.
I was just picturing you guys
can't write a song in a duck blind. There's too many guns going on.
Okay, just checking.
No, we were at a duck camp, and we were talking about, doing a song together and writing and all that, and it just, first time I heard that song, it was just such a fun song, like you said, and Half Me Wants a Cold Beer. It's a pretty relatable topic, I think, in country music especially, so it was a pretty easy choice for me, and it's been great to watch that song become a hit.
Did you guys get any ducks that day? Or?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Oh, yeah.
And the beer?
Yeah, the song was a bonus. We went for the ducks. Yeah.
So I was reading that you were joking about your girlfriend taking a ton of stuff on tour with her, like packing a tour bus with all her things. So
We had to take 2 cars to get here.
See, so I'm wondering, what are your 3 essential items that you have to have on tour with you that you cannot leave home without?
Guitar, a hat, and boots.
Okay, well, I imagine her list is very different.
Oh, yeah.
What would her 3 essential things be?
There's something that heats up when you plug it in, and it'll like curl your hair but dry it at the same time, and also like dye it a different color, like those 9 things like this long. One of those things. I know you gotta have one of those.
Okay. It's very important to have one of those.
The
on
bus
tour.
light. You can't even drive the bus when the thing's plugged in.
I like that.
Yeah.
That's very good. So I was listening to Wish Grandpa's Never Died, and the song itself, you were talking about nostalgia and songwriting and thinking about home and family. And, that song really resonated with me because I lost my grandfather when I was really young, and I remember being super close and not being able to sort of, I guess, express how I was feeling at that time. And so I think as kids, we have these things that happen to us, and then as adults, they still hurt. And it was interesting that you kind of put that all into one song. It was like all the sad things that have happened that you're thinking about.
It's a horribly sad song.
It is, but it's beautiful.
Well, it's you said it pretty well, talking about being at a really young age. Is that I wrote it from 30-something years old, and I had my grandparents in my life for most of my life, so I was really fortunate, and I lost them at a different stage. I had a guy come up to me one time that was like in his 60s, and he said that he didn't know his granddad, but he was a granddad. And so that song meant something to him for that reason. So it's cool that song really kind allows a lot of different people in a lot of situations to relate to kind of that same feeling.
And as we're getting to know you, country music fans, are you the kind of person who feels pressure to keep the success and the momentum going because your career's going really well and really quickly right now? Or are you somebody who is better at sort of living in the moment?
I'm probably, I feel like I'm not so good at living in the moment, but it's really just because I have had a lot of really great things happen to me over the last couple of years as far as my career goes. And, you know, I can honestly say that a song on the radio was never really a goal of mine. I never thought I'd sign a record deal. So to have a #1 song or 2 #1 songs or a gold record or platinum record or, you know, it's really even something that it took me a long time to be able to sit back and appreciate it because it is an awesome way to make a living, you know, and things are going really well. But I also have that sense of a little bit of urgency, I guess, that while people are listening, I want to try to write songs that really mean something to them and do as much as I can to, you know, get a lot out of this career that I'm kind of starting. So
Yeah, you want to squeeze the most out of this moment.
that's right. Yeah, I don't want to go back to work. I've had a real job.
Where would you go back to? Like, what would you have to do?
I'd be on the roof, I'm sure, nailing down plywood. I was doing construction work until 2018, so
Okay.
I'm really motivated to write country songs now.
And so outside the country genre, have you had any other musical sort of inspirations, influences, artists that have helped create your sound?
Well, so I grew up in the era of burnt CDs, you know. So I had a sister that was 10 years older than me, and I'd ride to school with her, and she'd be listening to like Weezer and Sublime, and you know, my mom was like the Mamas and the Papas and Fleetwood Mac, and my dad liked Eric Clapton and the band and Leonard Skinner, and my sister Casey liked Tim McGraw and Keith Urban. So I mean all that, but I was always kind of started with my granddaddy Buford, and he was like Merle Haggard and George Jones and
All
Roy
right.
Acuff, and it was a lot of different things kind of rolled into one. I'm sure it came from a lot of places.
You have an eclectic music
Yeah.
family.
Nobody's ever called me that.
And finally, I don't know if you know about Canadian country music fans, but they are intense.
I'm learning.
Yes. So I remember talking to Dierks Bentley once, and he said that Boots and Hearts is like one of his favorite festivals to play of all time. Now you're going to be there with Tim McGraw, which is huge, next
Sounds
summer.
like
Are you prepared?
Well, you say it like that. I don't really think I can say yes. We've done one festival in Canada. We did a Lasso festival, I think, last year, and I was blown away at just how big a deal it was. And you know, I've also noticed that it gets pretty cold up here. So when y'all have festivals outside in warm weather, I'm sure people show up. They're happy to be able to get outside.
Yeah.
But I'm just looking forward to it. I've seen it advertised so many times on social media and just seeing how big a deal it looks like it is. So that'll be a lot of fun. I'm looking forward to seeing what that's all about.
Okay. Don't say we didn't warn you.
A little nervous.
And finally, before we go, do you have any new music news? Anything to share?
Well, so obviously the Thomas Rhett single has done well, and I've had a #1 here in Canada with it. So I'm looking forward to putting out my own single top of the year, and I really want to put out a full album. I've put out a lot of projects, a lot of EPs, so that's what I'm working on right now, and obviously going to do a little writing over the holidays while I'm home and kind of, you know, hopefully something soon.
Can't wait to hear it. Thank you so much.
Thank you.